Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right, my name is Matt, hello. Season 5 begins now. It's time. I fucked around for too long. So hi everybody. We're starting a new season of Buffy here. I took a little bit of a break between seasons 4 and 5. If you're watching this in the future, you don't care. But if you're watching this as it's coming out, I'm sorry because it took a little bit of time. I was watching Doctor Who, but also life got in the way, and I also had to do the Buffy cast and the Angel cast, the Restless rewatch. I even though I didn't watch any new episodes of Buffy, I did kind of record several hours of just Buffy discussions in the recent times, so I think I'm kind of okay, but it's time for season 5. We're just gonna proceed forward now. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to watch this again because I feel like people have told me ever since I started the show then season 5 would be really good. And when I watched season 3, I got a taste for what really good Buffy would be. So I watched season 3 and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And people are telling me like, oh, wait until you get to season 5. And it's like, well, I kind of would have wished that nobody had told me that, but there's a level of anticipation that's been built up here. So I'm excited to start season 5 here. It's still just the first episode, so like, you know, whatever, but you know, let's just go and see what's up. Last time on Buffy, what happened? I don't fucking know, dude. Go watch some of the other videos I recorded. I recorded like 4 hours of me watching Restless and talking about it. I recorded like almost 6 hours of me just recapping the entirety of season 4. And I just posted an hour-long recap of Angel season 1. Go watch some of those videos, dude. Like, I'm not gonna talk about season 4 anymore. I'm fucking done. I'm just gonna go forward. But we had Restless, fucking banger of an episode. Go watch it. It's just really good. Let's go into season 5 now. I will say though, I did see the title of this episode and it sounds really fucking funny. It's just one of those like very Buffy ass titles where it's just like, well, that's a Buffy ass concept. But okay, we're ready. Patreon, check out the Patreon link in the description below, pop up on the screen. You can support the channel and watch early episodes of Buffy. There's more Buffy season 5 over at Patreon now, as well as I don't know what the release schedule is going to be for Angel this season. I actually haven't figured that shit out yet, but I'm going to be doing Angel as well on Patreon as I've done for previous season. But yeah, you can watch full-length Buffy, early Buffy, Angel over on Patreon, and just support the channel, mainly. That's the main thing. So I can keep making videos where I just say shit and nothing makes sense anymore. I'm still recovering from Restless. I don't know if you can tell, but okay, let us just begin. And I forgot to mention, I do offer full length for Patreon, but for this first episode of the season, as I do with every season, this first full length episode is free. So you can watch it if you check out the link below in the description. You'll find my entire reaction to this first episode. So if you're into that, it'll be there. Okay, let's go. In bed. Interesting opener. Oh shit, we're running. Is it me or like the quality of direction has gone up? So was she just anxious and decided she wanted to just kill someone? Right. And then she comes back to bed. That's okay. Interesting. Okay. So she abandoned a peaceful night of sleep with her partner just to go kill some dude and then come back. We can talk about that later. Is Tara in the intro? Is she named in the intro? I don't care about Mark Lucas. Where's Tara? Is she main cast now, finally? Tara not being main cast yet kind of tilts me, but you know, it's fine.
Ignis Incente. Just have to balance the elements so when you affect one, you don't wind up causing.
I mean, if you had done that, that would be crazy powerful magic. Weather altering sounds like some high level shit. Even if you didn't do it willingly, that sounds like a lot.
Good job.
Okay, who's inside? Yeah, that was someone. Knew it. It's Theo! He's here to murder like people like Father Styx. That's the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom Blood, episode 9 reference, by the way.
You've been Mr. Project all summer. Labeling the amulets and indexing your diaries. That's when you'll just have to get a life.
That's what I'm trying to do, actually, is get a life.
It might go better if you left the house.
Willow, you mustn't repeat what I'm about to say, especially not to Buffy.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We're doing all this because I want you and the others to have everything you need at your fingertips.
He's leaving.
See, I'm going back to England.
Okay.
You're... what? You can't. You're Buffy's watcher.
It's been years, girl.
It's becoming quite obvious that Buffy doesn't need me anymore. And I don't say that in a self-pitying way. I'm quite proud, actually.
It does sound sad, though.
And, you know, we'll stay in touch. Always call me whenever you like.
When are you gonna tell Buffy?
Soon. It won't be easy, but I know she'll understand.
I'm thinking about if he's leaving or not. I can kind of see it.
Well, vamps don't really care what time it is. You know, dark equals dinner bell. Duty calls. It's a total drag.
This is interesting. I mean, it really looks like she really wants to go out there and just kill people, which is different from before.
Very impressive hunt. Such power.
Look at this goth motherfucker.
We're not going to fight.
Do you know what a Slayer is?
Do you? I'm Dracula.
Get out.
What if somebody had a secret?
Why are we walking around in a graveyard?
This isn't about me and Tara.
Oh, well, not that I wouldn't be all ears if you wanted to tell me a secret about you two. Even if it was very, very naughty.
Sorry, this is the non...
Bro.
And you're sure this isn't just some fanboy thing? Because I fought more than a couple pimply, overweight vamps that call themselves Lestat.
As I would know without question that you are Buffy Summers.
Oh shit, he knows. He's there on a mission.
I came to meet the renowned killer.
I prefer the term Slayer. You know, killer just sounds so...
Naked.
like...
Okay, I have thoughts about the theme of at least this episode. Maybe this season. Well...
Okay, that's cheating.
Hey, Buff, what's up? Double mint mocha, but
Behind you. Hi.
look who's got a bad case of dark prince envy. 1, 2, 3. 3 victims.
Xander, I'm pretty sure that's Dracula.
Wow, really?
I will see you soon.
And then Buffy
Why is he fucking with the... Like, why did he do that? He like flew away and then came back.
Couldn't believe it the first 20 times you told us, but it's starting to sink in now.
Oh my god, everyone's fanboying over Dracula.
Just blown away. The way he said it, you know, and he made it sound so...
Sexy? I bet he made it sound sexy.
Did he charm everybody? I mean, it is Dracula.
It must have been his. I must admit, I'm sorry I missed that.
Aww.
The whole time I was thinking, gosh, I wish Giles were here. He'd know what to do.
I feel sad about Giles now. I really do. Everything he says just sounds so depressing.
Great point. That is so Giles to think of something like that, you know?
Girl,
He said that we would meet again, but I would like to avoid that until we do some serious homework.
I don't know. I mean, he may have a bunch of swell party tricks, but he's still just a vampire.
we don't know that. It would be really funny if the most famous vampire wasn't a vampire.
You're not just saying that because of those dark, penetrating eyes of his, are you?
And there was no penetration.
You're gonna have said that words, girl.
If the initiative was still around, we'd be able to find everything on this guy in a few hours.
We may not be as fast, but we'll find him.
I'm kind of wired. And maybe I should just let you get your rest.
She's not gonna rest.
See? A little sugar and I'm all yours.
I doubt he'd remember me. I was just a silly young thing, like 700 or so.
How old are you, by the way?
I am not panting. Stop being silly. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey!
Great. Perfect. You're not so big. Let's do it. No poof.
What are we doing, man?
Hey, Alaska.
Silence.
Yes, master.
Okay.
You will be my emissary, my eyes and ears in daylight. You will be rewarded.
I think he can just
I will
control you.
make you an immortal.
I don't think he has a choice in saying no here.
Yes, yes. I will serve you your excellent spookiness. Or master. I'll just stick with master.
You are strange and off-putting.
That's a good diss.
Brilliant. What an exit.
Yeah, I
He's
think.
a genius.
Yeah, I think that that's just what he does. He charms people and he controls them into doing his bidding. That's like part of the vampire mythos that, you know, all the things that vampires can and cannot do really vary depending on.
Take the boy out of the initiative.
Hi, Spike. What's up, homie?
Dracula. Bugger owes me 11 pounds for one thing.
Okay.
Know him?
We're old rivals. He got famous. Forgot all about his foes.
Oh, he sold out? Dracula sold out?
His story gets out, and suddenly everybody knows how to kill us.
Has special powers, right?
Nothing but showy gypsy stuff. The Count has to have his luxury estate and his bug eater.
Okay, he's a fancy pants.
You're out of your depth on this one, boy.
So she has a problem with killing you now that you're helpless. I don't.
I'd like to see you try.
Would you?
I mean, he literally cannot fight back, so.
You're never gonna find him.
Not before he gets to her.
He has his own smoke machine and everything? He really is Dio.
You are magnificent. Kindred.
Hardly.
Pull your hair back.
This isn't how I usually fight. You can just waft in here with your music video wind and your hypno eyes.
Yeah, that's what he... Yeah.
I have yearned for you.
Can you, like, not look at him? Would that work?
Creature whose darkness rivals my own. You have been tasted.
He was...
Unworthy.
Don't diss Angel, he was cool.
Do not fight.
I don't know if we can resist a direct command. Well, here we are. So that just happened. Okay. Yeah.
I think we have Dracula factoids.
Like any of that's enough to fight the Dark Master. Bader.
We're just gonna walk past that. We're just gonna move on.
What else did you guys get?
Well, Willow has most of it, actually.
Only because you gave me super pointers. I would never would have...
Go ahead, Willow.
Dracula's modus operandi is different from other vampires. He will kill just to feed, but he'd rather have a connection with his victims. And he has all these mental powers to draw them in. He can read and control minds and appear in dreams. Didn't you feel it, Buffy? No, I didn't.
See? Buffy didn't feel it. I think you're drawing a lot of crazy conclusions about the unholy prince. Bader.
The end result is the same. He turns him into a vampire.
That is intimate.
And he didn't turn... She didn't burn outside, so...
With his prey, it's not enough for him to take her. She must...
Did he eat a fucking spider? I wasn't looking. Oh, God.
Take off that scarf.
Okay, he realized.
You're under the thrall of the Dark Prince.
I'm not sure why I tried to hide it.
You're saying Dracula has some sort of freaky mind control over her? You're watching too many creature features, man.
For me, even though a big...
You
part
can
of me
eat a
was
fly,
just-
it's fine. The fly I don't care about.
Well, with Angel, I mean, it's understandable that there would be transference. I mean, they're
That
both fruity immortals.
Literally has nothing to do with this. He has mind control powers, my guy.
I'm your girl, and I'm gonna stay that way.
But you are not going anywhere near him again.
You can come over to my place. I'll make sure you stay put.
Good.
How'd he get inside anyway?
He seemed so nice and normal.
Okay, he also control her.
Light-skinned men in capes. I'm not like this. I don't invite strange men over for coffee.
Wait, okay, so he just walked through the front door, but he also set up a smoke machine outside the window. If I'm understanding correctly, that's exactly what happened? Okay. That wasn't just his, like, miasma of darkness, and he came from the window.
I'm supposed to deliver you to the master now.
Take me to him.
What if Buffy's just pretending?
So now comes immortality, right? You do the thing and...
Leave us.
You bet.
I knew you'd come.
I hate this guy, by the way.
We'll guess again, pal.
Put the stake down.
Okay.
Okay. Like, we need someone who hasn't seen him with, like, a blindfold on. But, like, he can teleport, so, like, I don't know how you would do this.
A big honking castle.
Why do they have a castle here? Did he bring the castle with him? I'm sorry? Miss? Whomst?
Stop me.
The amount of pale makeup on this motherfucker.
Do you know why you cannot resist? Because you do not want to.
Because of the mind control.
There is so much I have to teach you. Your history, your power, what your body is capable of. A little taste.
I won't let you.
I didn't mean for me.
That's concerning. That is a concerning part.
Nobody harms my master. You want him? You come through me.
Boom. There you go.
Please.
Oh.
You would be the three sisters, yes?
Oh. Okay. Hi.
Excellent, right? Ah, yeah. Tickles. Ooh, oh.
Okay.
These years fighting us, the power so near to our own.
What if they fucking turn her?
If I drink that,
I have not drunk enough for you to change. You must be near death to become one of us. And that comes only when you plead for it. Your craving goes deeper than that. You think you know what you are, what's to come. You haven't even begun.
Invoking the words from Restless. Are we committing to this? Are we turning Buffy into an undead?
Find it in darkness. Find your true nature.
Killing.
that was gross.
She just found her true nature, which is killing.
What is this?
My true nature. You want taste?
My brother in Christ, you can teleport. Okay. Thank God.
My shoe. Silly me, I'll just pop.
No, sir. No more chick pit for you. Come on.
Maybe it was actually the cape, the one that was giving him teleportation powers. It was a magic item, you know?
A guy like you should think about going electric. Seriously.
No, never mind. He just didn't want to do it. Okay.
How do you like my darkness now?
Darkness. Dark.
Buffy, you okay?
Yeah,
Where is he? Where's the creep that turned me into a spider-eating man-bitch?
he's gone.
I'm sick of this crap. I'm sick of being the guy who eats insects and gets the funny syphilis. As of this moment, it's over. I'm finished being everybody's butt monkey.
It could have been worse. At least you weren't making time with the Dracula babes like Giles here.
That was not making time. I was just about to kill those loathsome creatures.
Sander is like, I was eating spiders. You were in an orgy.
You think I don't watch your movies? You always come back. I'm standing right here.
So like, how do we resolve that?
Actually, I have something that I'd like to talk to you about too. You haven't been my watcher for a while. I haven't been training, and I haven't really needed to come to you for help.
Oh,
I agree.
so she's just gonna be like, I want you back in my life.
Made me face up to some stuff. Ever since we did that spell where we called on the first Slayer,
Uh-huh. What your true
I've
nature
been going
is.
out a lot.
Okay.
Every night, hunting. He understood my power better than I do. He saw darkness in it. I need to know more. About where I come from. About the other Slayers.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if I can learn to control this thing, I could be stronger. I could be better. I'm scared. And I can't do it without you.
Giles wants to cry right now.
I need you to be my watcher again.
Unofficially, but you know. Oh man.
You had something you wanted to say.
No. That's nothing.
Give her a hug, man.
Have a good time.
What are you doing here?
She
If you're
renting?
going out, why don't you take your sister?
Mom!
Okay. Whatever. Whatever. Sure, man. This is like one of those things where it's like, I have a particular way of reacting to things where sometimes I think that the intended reaction is for me to like freak out and be like, what? But my reaction is like seeing that and being like, nah, I refuse to engage with that. I'm just like, whatever. Whatever bullshit they want me to do, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just sitting here like, yeah, sure, that's something we're doing. Because it's so easy to just like throw in and be like, sister, and it's like, yeah, sure, I'll believe it. I'll just like wait for next episode to actually like give me some information. Right now I'm just like, whatever, man. I don't know who the sister is. I don't know if it was a missing child, the dad had another child, so this is your like half sister. I don't know what she's doing here. Like, I don't know what the dad would like plays like Buffy's dad, who's not around, would give his new daughter to like his old partner. It's like, that makes no sense. Maybe Joyce just overnight married someone new and now they have a new daughter. I don't know. Just some supernatural bullshit that makes more sense. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Let's talk about the actual episode. So I think that, once again, there are elements to this episode where I feel like the one that should not be named is trying to fuck with us. When Dracula shows up, I'm sitting here like, okay, like, sure, that's the thing we're doing. That's like a funny concept more than a real concept. So whenever they were threatening with the idea, they were playing with the idea of like Buffy becoming a vampire by drinking Dracula, I'm sitting here like, I don't think that we would do that because this doesn't feel earned. Like, I think on a kind of textual sense it would make sense, like just from the fact of like, okay, we're bringing back what Tara said, what the first Slayer started doing, restless, and it's like the ominous message of like what's gonna happen. And I would like, this sounds to me like Mr. Whedon got on Buffy fan forums and he was reading all of their theories and he was like, I'm gonna fuck with them. And that's what he did. That's why that was mentioned there. Buffy's gonna turn into a vampire by drinking Dracula. It's like, but to me, this has to make sense on a more emotional level rather than just like textual, right? So like logically I guess that could happen, but it doesn't feel earned because it's like, who's this fucking fool? Who's this like dumbass who calls him some Dracula that shows up and it's like, oh, he's gonna turn Buffy into a vampire in the first episode? It's like, it doesn't feel real to me. Unless that had happened and then this Dracula is gonna become like a main antagonist for the remainder of the season and we really build him up by doing this on the first episode. But I'm looking at this Dracula and I'm sitting here like, he doesn't like, who's this fucking twink? I want this twink obliterated. I don't give a fuck about this guy. Who's this fool? Like, I genuinely saw this Dracula and I was like, he looks like a shitty cosplayer. Like, he doesn't look like a bad guy that I should be concerned about. And in the way that he acts, like, the ability to mind control people or just suggest them and to doing your bidding, it is fucked up, but it is something where I don't like that necessarily for a main antagonist that's just gonna do that the whole time. So like, I'm looking at Dracula and I'm like, I want this guy gone by the end of the episode because it also feels like a gimmick character to me. Because the idea of bringing Dracula into Buffy feels like a gimmick to me, and that's what it was, right? Like, and that's what everyone kind of points out. Everyone is just like, oh my god, it's the famous Dracula, and they're taking jabs at the idea that Dracula is in the show. You know, Spike is like, he has done much work for vampires than for humans, let me tell you. Now everyone knows about him, and they all know how to kill us, and it's like, yeah. So all of that is very funny to me. So like Dracula, and this version of Dracula too, which is, again, just kind of a shitty cosplayer. Like, I'm looking at him and I can see the heavy pale makeup on his face and I'm just like, this guy is fucking funny. So when we're playing around with the idea of Buffy turning into a vampire when she drinks his blood in that moment, I'm sitting here like, yeah, I mean, I guess they could do that, but I don't see it because it doesn't feel earned, right? It's not just about like, oh, this would fit with whatever was set up in Restless. Like, when I did my rewatch with Restless, I heard, what was the, Tara said, be back before sunrise, I think, something like that. Which you hear that, and I heard that, and I was like, oh, maybe Buffy's gonna turn a vampire into the future. And it's like, I still stand by that, that could happen. But this feels like a jab at people who said that when they watched that episode, which again feels like Mr. Whedon just got into Buffy fan forums. And he was like, I'm gonna have some fun with these people. How dare they think about the piece of media that I'm creating? I'm just gonna clown on them. But then I think he's gonna do it anyway later. But yeah, this just feels like a gimmick episode. Doesn't feel earned, which is why they didn't go for it. What they did do, however, is actually go into something that does matter, which is Buffy is a killer. That's what we're doing. We're talking about Buffy's nature. We're going back to Restless. I made a 3.5 fucking hours video on Restless. Go watch that fucking video. If you haven't, just go do that. But in that video, I said that Buffy, like Buffy's struggle and what the first Slayer is trying to do is that Buffy as a Slayer, the idea of a Slayer and just the name of a Slayer is slay, is kill, is the hunt, right? What the first Slayer is saying is that like there's no like all this sophistication. What is this facade of like what it means to be a human or whatever? The first Slayer is all about the kill. That's all that matters, and that's what she's doing, and that's when she's like trying to tell Buffy. Buffy kind of rejects the idea. She's like, I'm hanging out with my friends, and my friends are good. We won through the power of friendship or whatever. But this episode actually seems to be coming back to that. Not just the episode, the actual season. Probably because that's what Buffy says at the end here with Giles. It seems like we're really gonna like explore a little bit on the idea of Buffy being a killer, being a slayer, not just in the job description, but actually killing, which is interesting. And that's something I didn't say it specifically, but I immediately noticed when the episode started and all you can see is Buffy in bed. She looks like she's thinking about something. She goes out from bed. Riley's just sleeping peacefully. She goes out, goes and kills a dude, and then she comes back. And that's when she sleeps. There's no dialogue. It's just going, killing, and then coming back, and that's when she can sleep peacefully. And then credits roll. And I'm sitting here like, okay, I see. What we're doing is essentially we're going to be talking a lot about Buffy and killing. This episode and this season, probably. Where Buffy is kind of returning to the idea of a slayer and what it means to be a slayer and embracing it. Where really from the beginning of the show, it felt like Buffy has been rejecting the idea of being a slayer, mostly because she just wants to be a normal girl who has a normal life. But it seems like at this point, she's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna say fuck it to all of that, and I am just going to go and kill some dudes. Which at the end of the episode, I do feel good for Giles in the sense that Giles wanted to just leave because he felt like he was being left behind, which was really sad. But then Buffy is like, you know, I want to know more. I want to learn more about the Slayers and where, like, who were they, where I come from, and what I can do to, like, get stronger. I do feel good for Giles, but I also look at that and I hear Buffy say that, and I'm sitting here like, because that's what the season 4 finale with Restless was, is that Buffy's kind of rejecting the idea of I'm just a killer. She's like, no, I'm a person, I'm a human, I have my friends, and we do all of this together, and that's like, that's very nice. But then immediately Buffy's like, actually, no, maybe I am just a killer. And that's what she realized when she drinks Dracula's blood, which is why I immediately said killing. Like, Buffy said, when she started saying the flashback, she saw the flashback of the first Slayer. She saw at the beginning of the episode when she was chasing that one dude. She was like, I know my nature. I'm like, killing. That's it. Like it's very interesting. It's funny to me how, like, if you didn't do like a 4 hours dissection of Restless like I did, you maybe wouldn't have known what the fuck the show is talking about. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like that's what the struggle for Buffy was, and that's what it seems like we're gonna lean really hard into it here and probably moving forward. However, right now I couldn't tell you exactly where it's going to go, but it's just something that, like, just on a conceptual level, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that sounds like bad news. That sounds like Buffy straying off a little bit from the path. But what is the path? You know, like, there's no path laid out for her. She's just making shit up as she goes. Like, that is both what growing up is, like entering adulthood, but also who the fuck has a guideline on what it means to be a Slayer, how to live your life as a Slayer, and also what is a good Slayer? How do you define a good Slayer? Just in the sense of how well she can live with the idea of being a Slayer, or how efficient she is at slaying. And it's like, we have all these different parameters, and it's like, well, what direction Buffy wants to take it. And earlier in the show, it would have been she just wants to have a good life. And also she's doing some slaying as a side hustle, you know, just because we kind of need the world not to explode. So she's going to save the world from exploding, but generally she just doesn't want to be that necessarily. That completely changed here. And that's why I partially felt good for Giles at the end of that episode. Not just because it was set up to, like, Giles wants to leave, Giles feels alone, Giles feels left behind, like, all that is very sad. So when Buffy says that, of course, there's a payoff of, like, him feeling like, oh my god. But there's also a level where in season 1, Giles really badly wanted to just impart all of his knowledge and wisdom on Buffy, and Buffy was like, I don't care about that shit. And Giles just kind of was like, okay, we're gonna work with what we have. And now finally, 5 seasons later, Buffy's like, Giles, I want you to teach me. I want you to tell me everything I want to know. I want to learn. I want to get stronger. Like, she's for the first time in her goddamn life is actually saying all of that. And Giles is like, I could see him like almost start crying. Like it was a moment of like, oh my god, finally we're here. She's asking me that she actually wants me to be her watcher, not just like kind of be her watcher, like I'm assigned to her, but then I'm just really just gonna be her dad. It's like, no, she actually wants me to perform my duty as a watcher and teach. And he's like, oh my god, I thought she'd never ask that. I was literally about to leave, bro. Like that must feel really good for him, and that's why he's gonna stay. For a second I thought he might leave. Like, I could see it happening, mostly because that intro credit sequence, it's a little bit packed. I'm not gonna lie. Like the Giles came in the last like 5 seconds in the intro. Like they dedicated time to Anya, they dedicated time to Riley, they dedicated time to Spike. They didn't dedicate any time to Tara, and I'm upset about that because I would remove literally every other character from the intro and just have a 1 minute Tara intro. I would do that, like with Jonathan, but it's just Tara. But that's just me though. However, I saw that intro being so packed and I was like, I guess Giles could leave. If they really wanted to, I guess we could like delegate a little bit and make sure the other characters just kind of fill in Giles' shoes. But I wouldn't want him to leave. And I like that he seems like he's not. So that's good. I can talk about Dracula, but I kind of don't want to because, you know, like this guy, Dracula, is just kind of a loser, if I'm going to be honest with you. To me, it comes across as like kind of a loser. Like, okay, I suppose that is a question I can ask comment section. Hey, comment section, what's up? Let's do some audience interaction here. When you saw this, were you like, oh shit, it's Dracula? Or were you just kind of laughing at this clown? Because, like, I'm definitely in the second group. When I saw this Dracula, I was like, this is just a fucking funny bit, right? It's funny. Because, like, when I saw the title of the episode, I was like, this is funny. Because the title of the episode is Buffy versus Dracula. And that is just, like, a funny fan fiction title. It's like a rap battles of history title. It's like some dumb clown shoe shit title. So when I read that, I was like, this is not going to be a serious episode. And I suppose something that you could do that would be funny would be grabbing something that looks like a funny episode and making it serious. You could do that. However, this episode was not self-aware enough in how funny it was in order to blindside me and actually make it serious. It was funny in the sense that if you have my mentality, you would think that it's funny, but if you would have a different mentality when approaching this, you maybe would have been like, oh fuck, it's Dracula, he's some real serious shit. And I'm sitting here like, not this Dracula. If I wanted people to actually feel intimidated by Dracula, I would have made a different Dracula that does different shit. This Dracula is just kind of like a groomer. Doesn't look great. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. This Dracula didn't look great. I mean, they were definitely going to do something different for Dracula than for your average vampire. Like, he carries himself in a different manner, but also he doesn't transform. He doesn't do the shit that these vampires do. He shapeshifts into bats and other animals, I suppose. And he can turn into mist and just disappear and reappear. And it's like, cool, he can do that, but also I'm not looking at that and thinking, oh my god, this guy is really cool. I'm looking at that and being like, this guy has a bunch of tricks. It's like a magician, right? Like, I'm not looking at it like as a threat. I'm looking at it as like, oh, okay, funny character. What next, though? So I wasn't looking at this guy, or in this episode in general, as an episode that I should have really feel concerned about. So, again, that whole bit where Buffy, will she drink Dracula's blood bit was happening. And not just drink it because she did drink it, but also accept it, I suppose. I wasn't like, okay, this is gonna be serious, because honestly, I'm looking at this guy, like I just saw a still, yeah, when he's talking to Sander. I mean, that just looks funny to me. Can I show it to you guys? Give me a second. How is this shot not funny to y'all? Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you're trying really hard, my guy. You're trying so hard. It's like too much. So like, yeah, I saw that and I was like, he's not real. That's not a real character. Now, something that would be kind of fun is that like, they go like, oh yeah, he always comes back. And that's why he kept coming back and he kept like reappearing. But then we just cut away. We don't know what the resolution to that is. It would be kind of funny if like he became a character that was just a side character. I think that would be funny. If he like reappeared again, but then he was like, oh, I'm not gonna mess with them. I'm not gonna fuck with them. She already kicked my ass. I'm good now. So then he just goes and fucks off and does his own shit. That would be funny if we saw him again, but he's like, oh, I don't want anything to do with her. She kicked my ass already. I'm good. Like, that would be funny. So I could see him as a character of that caliber. I think that would be kind of a fun character. But nothing else. That's all I would accept from this Dracula. He has like weirdo incel energy, kind of. Anyway, on the things that actually mattered from this episode is this bit of Giles that was gonna leave because he feels like he's been left behind. We already talked about this before. Like, pretty much any scene that had Giles in it was pretty sad. So like, I'm very happy that he actually, like, at the very end of the episode, you can see how happy he is, and he's like, I'm gonna stay. Like, that feels really cool. I was very happy to see that. Buffy is dealing with her situation where she feel like, okay, I suppose something we can speculate on is whether or not Buffy was changed on some manner when after the situation with the first Slayer doing Restless. Is she just thinking about what she is, just doing it and just going out slaying, or was something in her change when she fought and defeated the first Slayer? Because also she didn't really defeat the first Slayer. She was just let herself get stabbed, and then she was like, whatever, girl, I don't give a shit, and then it just ended. So it's like, I don't know if she like changed on like a spiritual level when that happened, you know? That could have been it. She did say after we had that thing happen, I've been patrolling every night and I can't stop. And she doesn't say it in a manner where she realizes that it's something that's wrong with her. She says it in a manner of like, I've been feeling like I want to do better. So, hey, I'm going to do better. I need your help. It's a thing where I feel like, I don't know what the show wants me to do here, which is interesting. I don't know if the show wants me to realize that that's exactly what I should be focusing on and that's a bad thing, or if that's something where it's maybe a good thing for her to realize, you know, like I can be stronger if I train better. I would consider that to be explicitly a bad thing because she's kind of forsaking her humanity. That was kind of the point of Restless. She's holding on to her humanity through her friends instead of just kind of giving in to the instinct and the fight and the kill, which is what the first Slayer was. So the fact that she's kind of doing that now, I'm starting to think, oh no, that looks bad to me. Riley. I mean, Riley is kind of becoming a worse character, and that's not to say, I mean, it's not that he necessarily was a great character before. I already talked a little bit about Riley. People ask me on the Buffy cast to go watch the Buffy cast season 4. It's like 4 hours of this shit. I said that Riley to me feels like a character that he was a cool concept because of the story that they had for him. But now that the story has been wrapped up, I'm like, yeah, as a character, I think he's kind of vanilla. I don't know what I could do for him. You could have an interesting story with him, but I'm kind of not interested in him right now. I kind of don't care for this guy, and I'm kind of expecting him to die. So that's how I feel about Riley. So now, what we see about Riley is kind of worse than before, because at least worse it was a little bit interesting. Now it's like, okay. Because like, what we see of Riley is that he's jealous. He's a jealous guy. And that's something we saw before, but in the concept that we saw before, he was worried about Buffy's ex-boyfriend, really, which is partially, it was like, haha, it's a joke, you know, it's a joke about like, you know, it's like a worry that you might have that your girlfriend is fucking her ex, you know, because you were not good enough. So she went back to her ex. It's like, sure, that was what that episode was. What's the name of the episode? I think it was the Yoko Factor, yeah. But in this episode, he actually does have that happen again, where she's like, you're her thrall, you know, you're fucking Dracula's cucking me. But it's one of those things where like, I'm like, bro, she got mind control. Like, literally, that's what he does. So like, why would you get upset at her for it? You should be concerned. You should be like, oh my god, he's controlling my girlfriend's mind. Like, you should be worried about her. But instead, he feels like personally offended by it. And it's like, my guy, what are we doing here? It's like, bro, chill. There was also a moment where Sander was like, oh, if you want to tell me about when you fuck your girlfriend, I'll be down to hear those stories. It's like, I had several bro chills in this episode. Like, what are we doing, man? Shut up. And Willow also didn't mind it. She was like, this time I'm not going to tell you that. Like, that's not what I wanted to talk about. And I'm sitting here like, why does everyone listen to whatever Sander says and just kind of rolls with it? Like, at one point, he was like, oh yeah, the evil master Vader. It's like, what? And everyone just roll with it. Nobody gave a fuck. Which is like, I understand where Sander's coming from when he feels like nobody gives a shit about him. But at the same time, he has Jester's privilege. That's what he has. Can I pull up Jester's privilege real quick? Right? Like, this is Sander. Like, he has Jester's privilege. Because, like, he says some of the wildest shit, and characters in the show just go like, okay, whatever. And then they just proceed as normal. When, if that was real life, and your homie said that, you would be like, bro, what? You would roast him for it. But like, we're at the point where like Sander just says some crazy shit and he gets away with it because everyone just goes like, all right, whatever. He's Sander. He's the clown of the group. We don't have to give a shit about what he says. So it's a situation where like Sander does want to feel acknowledged and he does want to feel like he's being respected. But then he gets himself and does some shit like this. But then at the same time, that wasn't him saying that. He was mind control, so he was just kind of rolling with the punches. So how much blame can you place on him? Like, on some level, Sander is the most doomed by the narrative character because all he wants is for his peers to like him and respect them. And the show itself wants to clown on him. So like, how is he able to escape his own like doomed existence because the show itself wants to make fun of him? That's an interesting thing about Sander. It's like that guy really badly wants people to respect him, and then the show is like, nah, we're just gonna make fun of him. He's gonna be the guy that eats spiders. And so it's like, I kind of feel bad for him at this point. I don't like him, but also, bro, come on, give him a break. Yeah, Riley, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He also had a moment where like, he like threatened Spike. He like threatened to kill Spike. And I don't know why I saw that. And I was like, it feels like Spike is a good guy and a victim here. You're kind of looking at Riley through the lens of a villain when you see that scene. And it's interesting because like Riley comes in and he's like, tell me shit. And Spike is like, Spike is like struggling to do so. He like doesn't. And then Riley is like, Buffy doesn't have issues killing you, but I will. And it's like he's threatening him with murder just like immediately. And it's a situation where it really feels like Riley's jumping from 0 to 100 like really quickly. I mean, I guess he didn't kill him, it was just an empty thread. Or just a thread, I don't know if it was empty. But like, that's the thing, it's like, Spike has been baby girlified to the point where you look at Spike and you kind of feel bad for him. So having Riley just threatening him like that, you kind of look at Riley and you go like, bro, come on. Like, it feels like Riley's bad. I could see a universe where the show wants to take Riley in a negative direction, which would be interesting. It would be interesting to take one of our main cast characters, Buffy's boyfriend, and make him like, not evil, but like bad. Like a lot of his shit where he's, I don't know, more traditional, more like military focused, like that would actually come and be a bad thing about him that we have to explore. Or the fact that like maybe he's a little bit self-centered. That wasn't fully explored before, but now that he has a newfound freedom, like maybe he's just feeling himself a little bit too much, letting his emotions get the best of him a little bit too much. I don't know to what degree the drug detox is affecting him in any way, or if it's affecting him at all. But yeah, anyway. The real question for this episode I have, though, is like, Dracula came through the front door, he charmed Joyce, because that's the joke we needed to do. But then we had a smoke machine at the window. So, like, those were just two unrelated events. He just wanted to show off to the camera specifically. Because Buffy didn't see that shit. It was just through the camera. We saw the smoke machine coming from the window. And then he walked through the front door. I guess maybe he wanted to fill the room with the smoke in order to set the mood so that then it would be prepared when he actually arrived through the front door. Like, he arrives into the room and he's like, oh, perfect, the mood is right. This was a great plan. I'm so good at this. The amount of extra that he was, I mean, it was right for Dracula, but like the amount of extra that he was really reminded me of Dio. A lot of shit in this episode reminded me of Dio. I made a couple Phantom of references with the smoke machine. I mean, smoke machine is Stardust Crusaders, but when he like punches out of the, when he like punches out of the like shipping container, and just kills a dude. I'm like, Dio did that in episode 9 of JoJo. The difference is that Dio's a good character because Dio doesn't shut the fuck up, and he really goes ham for whatever the fuck he's saying or feeling in any given moment. This Dracula was like, oh, you want to see me? He was like showing this like disinterested emotion, but like sexually charged, which really just comes across as creepy. Not in a good way, not in an entertaining way, just like, ugh, get this guy off my screen. You know, it should have been a little bit livelier. That's what I'm saying. It should have been more like Dio, which I guess the Master was more like Dio. I miss the Master, dude. The Master was good. Bring the Master back. Fuck this guy. Anyway, so I don't know what else I can say about this episode. I mean, it was a good premiere. I think we're setting up some of the concepts we're already talking about the season, namely Buffy and killing. It's like, oh god, I saw the spider again. God damn it, fuck this episode. I have arachnophobia, by the way. This has been well documented on this channel before. I think somebody left me a list of episodes where I should like keep in mind so I could be ready to not look at whenever it happens. I completely forgot about that. I forgot that this was the thing that could happen to me. It's been so long. I'm gonna have to check that out again. If you're watching this in the comment section, let me know where the episodes have spiders so I can have a new source of information for Buffy and also for Angel if you can. I want to know if there are spiders so I can not look at the screen. Okay, anyway. That's another JoJo reference. Rohan licked a spider and also Kakyoin ate a beetle. More JoJo references. There was one time I went on my YouTube community tab and I wrote that like my superpower was to like turn anything into a JoJo reference. And then somebody told me 2 girls, 1 cup. And I listed like 5 different events from like very specific episodes. And then I was like, oh, and I forgot the extra one, the actual time when somebody ate shit. Like the actual time when somebody literally ate shit. And that's like the main one, but I forgot about it because I was focused on like all the other times where I could reference it. Anyway, that's a minigame for the comment section if you want. Leave a thing, a concept of anything, and I'll reply to it with a JoJo reference. Alright. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the folks that decided to watch the full length for this one as well. I'm excited to go back here with Buffy. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much. See you guys next time. Bye bye. But if you would like to watch the next episode for Buffy and you can watch in your watch-alongs, full-length reactions, all of that, you can do so at the Patreon. Check out the link in the description below. Social media, all sorts of cool stuff that I do. See you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.